Hello, you disgraceful pigeons, and welcome to this miraculous kind of, but most likely rant video. For the second time this year. But Westflower, what about the Undertale Yellow video you promised? Anyway, I think one of the most complicated and overall risky subjects you could add to your show would be time travel. Because there are very strict rules you have to take into account. You have to be careful that it all links together and makes sense in the end. You know, to avoid time paradox and all. Like I said, it's a very risky addition you can make in your show, especially if you want it to be a serious matter. But done right, it can be a very interesting and entertaining to see. And if done wrong... Miraculous introduced time travel through the use of the Rabbit Miraculous. I still remember the first time the episode Timetagger aired to the public, everyone lost their shit. We just had confirmation that time travel was a thing in Miraculous. Of course, this power is very powerful, but also dangerous by the fact that you have to be extremely careful of how it's gonna be used. Hence also why we rarely see it in action in the show. But the rare time we see it, oh boy, headache everywhere. Technically, there's also the Snake Miraculous, but contrarily to the Rabbit Miraculous, at least the snake has some good limitation, which leaves no real incoherences. That's not the case of the rabbit though, which is why I'm gonna dedicate this video towards the Rabbit Miraculous only. So first, let me explain how this video is gonna play out. There are 6 episodes where the Rabbit Miraculous is used, and I'm gonna go over them one by one, and explain the incoherences of its use and also some solutions they could have made to fix them. This is gonna be a long one, so sit back, relax, get some snacks, and we will be able to start. And before anything, thank you so much for 25,000 subscribers. I'm so very happy we got to this number, and I hope to see more of you join this little cult that is my channel. So for those of you who are unsubscribed, you know what to do. Don't forget to like too, and if you have any problems with some of my reasonings, or if you begin to feel rage towards me, or any kind of emotion really, know that leaving a comment can relieve you of that intense emotion you're feeling. It has been proven. Trust me. And now, let's finally get into it.
Do you love me too?
Excuse me?
Before going over the episodes and everything, I'd like to talk about one thing about the Rabbit Miraculous that just irks me, and that is the Rabbit Miraculous' special power, the Burrow. No, because no matter how much thought I put into it, this power is one of the things that makes the least sense in all of Miraculous. Let me explain. The power of the Rabbit Miraculous is as follows. The holder can enter some sort of pocket dimension called the Burrow. And in this dimension, you can watch or enter any space you want from any time of the holder's choosing, making the Rabbit Miraculous one, if not the most dangerous and ridiculously overpowered Miraculous in the whole show. And now, you might be asking where lies my problem with this Burrow, to which I respond, this image. And this image. And this image. If you're still wondering what the fuck I'm babbling about, first let's establish this. A burrow is a space where you can travel through time and space, so we can assume that time in the burrow is a concept that doesn't really exist. Now then, in this image we can see multiple holders of the Miraculous of the Rabbit in the same burrow. Not only that, but every time we see a holder enter the burrow, it seems they always enter in the same timeline of events. And remember, in the episode Evolution, adult Blanc knew Monarch was there, but from her perspective it was Monarch of the past, and when they fight, it's in the same burrow. My point is, all of those instances point to one conclusion. There is one burrow for every holder of the Rabbit Miraculous for every timeline. Do you see where my problem is now? Because if there is only one burrow, that means there shouldn't be 2 or 3 holders every time they go in there, but multiple of them from every time they use it. Heck, we should also be seeing previous holders. Think about it, if there's only one burrow, there should be multiple Alex traveling there, not just 3. There is one thing I thought about that could explain this, and it was that the burrow had a timeline of its own, but that would mean that on top of traveling through time on Earth, they're also traveling through time in the burrow. And while that could explain things at first, in Evolution, when Bunnyx, Ladybug, and Cat Noir first entered the burrow to pursue Monarch, Bunnyx took them when Monarch was already in another time. If she can time travel in the burrow, why not go when he first entered the burrow? Why go when he was already disturbing time and not before? And also, in her time, at which point did she decide, yep, time to go fight Monarch? Why not before? Why not after? She said it's because things started to change in the past and that's how she knew there was a problem, but like, How did you notice only now? Shouldn't your younger self have noticed before? I think all of you see what my point is. All of this is just a complicated mess, the one Burrow or the Burrow timeline that is. And I have an easy fix for this, establishing 2 rules about the Burrow. First, each Rabbit Miraculous holder of any time has their own separate Burrow. And 2 or more Rabbit Miraculous holder cannot be in the same Burrow. Yes, that would change a lot of things in the Miraculous timeline, but at least it would be less complicated and make way more sense than whatever was happening here. And maybe there is a better explanation, so if someone has the answer, please just comment, that would be great actually. Okay, now that that's out of the way, let's really begin our time travel retrospective.
You know, I never knew my father.
Alright, let's start at the beginning. Timetagger is the first ever episode in which we get introduced to the Rabbit Miraculous but also adult Blancs. And already you cannot imagine the headache I got from rewatching it. The story is pretty simple. An akumatized villain from the future called Timetagger goes to the past to take the Miraculous of Ladybug and Cat Noir when they were younger, and thus less powerful. That's when adult Blancs, aka adult Alex, shows up to try and stop him. And already I have one problem. Timetagger has the power to travel through time thanks to his time tags, and since he can travel through time, he can also travel through space, meaning he can also kind of teleport and also send people to the past. Here's the thing though.
You will give me the power to travel through time!
No, you're mistaken. Time travel is Fluff's power, and I can't grant a power that already belongs to another Kwame.
Do I have to explain what's the problem here? If we take what his Kwame said to heart, that means it's also the same rule for the Butterfly Miraculous. So Gabriel can't give powers that are the same as another Miraculous. Not only that, but if this wasn't the case, Gabriel wouldn't have needed the other Miraculouses in the 5th season. So... how can he time travel? Not only that, but that means Hawkmoth can also give himself the power to travel through time. Why did he never do that before? And better yet, after seeing Timetagger, why did he never do that again? And that's just the beginning, because I get that Alex would reveal her identity since she remembers doing that, but why give out so many informations about the future? Especially the team of superheroes part.
In the future, I'm a member of Ladybug and Cat Noir's team of superheroes.
Not only is it a big information, but for someone who is dead serious on not disturbing the flow of time, this is a pretty low slip up, especially for future episodes. You'll see. And finally, we have to talk about this fight in the episode, because why would Blanc go back immediately to the fight right after being hurt or out of breath? She can time travel. She could literally take a day off and come back to the fight feeling better. She's literally never in a hurry. She does not have to be, and that's also the same way for Timetagger. But here, that's just me nitpicking. What's not nitpicking is the next part. Oh lord. Because yeah, all of what I just said was just the tip of the iceberg, because now we have to explain what the hell is going on with those Rabbit Miraculouses. Oh boy. There is a good explanation, and for once it actually kind of makes sense, until it doesn't. Let me explain. So in the previous episode, Alex's father gave his daughter a clock that is apparently a family heirloom that they pass to every generation. But when adult Alex arrives, she reveals her Miraculous has been damaged by future Cat Noir before Timetagger imprisoned her in one of those statues in the museum. Which is why she takes the clock from her past self, which is revealed to be the Rabbit Miraculous in disguise. How the hell did it get there? It's been in Alex's family for generations, so how the hell do we explain that? And also, in previous episodes, we saw the Rabbit Miraculous with Master Fu. The fact that the Kwame is present is proof enough, so that means that right now we have 3 Rabbit Miraculouses at the same time. The broken one, the clock in Alex's family, and the one at Master Fu's. And this is where we're gonna go through headache territory, so bear with me. Future Alex took the clock heirloom since her Miraculous got broken by future Cat Noir. They defeat Timetagger, and I assume Marinette's lucky charm at the end fixes the broken Rabbit Miraculous. And then Blanc goes back to her time, and with her the previously broken Miraculous and the clock heirloom that we actually never see again after this episode. So I assume she took both with her, leaving adult Blanc with 2 functional Rabbit Miraculouses. So she keeps one for her and sends the second one to her family in the past as a family heirloom. And now the timeline finally makes sense. if you stop there, because one, all of the things I explained just now are never said in the episode. I had to do the thinking gymnastics on my own, which shouldn't be my role, and second, I did a lot of assuming in this explanation because, well, I'm not sure if her lucky charm actually fixed the broken Miraculous, I'm not sure if Alex took both Miraculous with her, and finally, I would love to have someone explain to me why Marinette's lucky charm never sent the clock back to the future before. In a way, this clock shouldn't be there, so shouldn't the lucky charm fix it too? And don't tell me it doesn't work on time-related things. In the same episode, the Lucky Charm brought back the victims of Timetagger stuck to the past or future, so why did it never do that with the clock heirloom? Oh my god, headache. Headache everywhere. And it could have been avoided if the clock heirloom never existed in the first place. Adult Bunnix would have borrowed the Miraculous of Master Fu and gave it back once her Miraculous got fixed. And as to how you explain the fact that young Alex is there, well, her father works at the museum, so even as a coincidence, it's not that far-fetched. And as for young Alex's clock's message about adult Alex being stuck in one of the statues in the museum, replace that by a Lucky Charm. Okay, this episode isn't that bad compared to the others, but the headache it gave weren't worth it.
You never touched my cheese, and yet you lost your mother not so long ago, right?
When I was younger, I really liked that episode, but growing up, I started to notice some upsetting details until at one point I finally realized that Cat Blanc was a very bad episode. And while I can see why a lot of people liked it, even I like the concept of Cat Blanc, there's just so many flaws, and whenever I rewatch it, that's the only thing I can see. Let me explain. In this episode, because of some dumb mistake, Adrian finds out Marinette's secret identity, and from there on out, it kind of goes down the hill. And I'm just gonna skip over the details, but basically, Gabriel commatizes Cat Noir into Cat Blanc, which grants him the power to destroy anything indefinitely with no limitations. But Cat Blanc womp so bad, he accidentally destroys the world and kills everyone except himself, leaving him wandering all alone for all eternity. Bennix sees this and then goes to the Marinette of the past to try and fix things up, and already we have one enormous problem, and that is... what the fuck are you doing here? In the future, Cat Blanc kills everyone, including Alex, so... how do you exist? And don't try to tell me, but she's starting to disappear in the episode. Dude, she should have disappeared a while ago. Actually, she shouldn't even exist right now, even in Timetagger. And while I was watching, I thought that maybe there's different timelines in Miraculous, and that's why she exists, because she comes from a different one. But that would be weird, because one, that means that Bunnix is trying to save every timeline that exists, which should be an impossible task, because the concept of timelines is that there are endless and infinite possibilities. So that's literally an impossible job. Second, that would mean that all of the Bunny Miraculous holder of different timeline have the same Burrow, which would be way more complicated than what I explained before. Third, if she comes from a different timeline, she shouldn't be disappearing right now. And four, in future episodes, we have proof there's only one timeline in Miraculous, so one future. So this situation is literally impossible. Not only that, but why is she disappearing now? Why not later? Why not earlier? Why now? Time on Earth has no meaning in the Burrows, so why? That's so confusing, and the worst part is there is an easy solution to all of this. Remove Timetagger, give the Bunny Miraculous to young Alex before Cat Blanc, then in the Cat Blanc episode replace adult Bunnix by young Bunnix, and then put Timetagger after Cat Blanc. And I know what you're gonna say, but Westflower, Timetagger introduced the Miraculous of the Bunny, how do we introduce it now? And what about the clock heirloom? Well, I don't know, use your fucking imagination. It's either this or big time paradox, I don't make the rules here. Okay, now that that's out of the way, I can bring up my second problem with this episode. Upon seeing the horrifying future that awaits them, Bunnix decides to take Marinette and send her to the future to get the Akuma of Cat Blanc and fix everything. Why? No, wait, cause why send Marinette to the future? That's dumb. All Bunnix had to do is exactly what she did in the episode, and that is figure out what happened, tell Marinette, and have her fix her mistake. Why they all sending her to the future to get the Akuma kind of shit? Not only that, but that was super risky. Don't forget that Cat Blanc knew Marinette's identity. What if he told Marinette his identity? What if he told her any other things she shouldn't be aware of, like Hawkmoth's secret identity? He knew that too. Wouldn't that disturb the flow of time or some shit like Bunnix said? Why take this enormous risk? What was the point? And some people are gonna say, well, Bunnix didn't know that at the time she sent her, which is even worse because that means she sent Marinette to a future she knows nothing about, which is riskier. And don't tell me, well, if that happened, she could have just taken another Marinette from the past and try again. But Bunnix was literally disappearing. She did not have the time for this. There was no reason to send her there, except maybe give her PTSD, which geez, thanks Bunnix. Like I said, I like the idea of Cat Blanc, but the flaws it has just destroys the episode for me. I mean, Bunnix was so adamant about not disturbing the course of history, and to only intervene when it's absolutely necessary, so what gives? And if you really wanted to give her trauma therapy and show her what happened, why not just, well, show her? You don't have to push her in there to fight Cat Blanc, you can just show the images. God, I hate this episode. I mean, it's not that I hate what they did, but more so that I hate how they wasted the potential of this episode. Of course, it's not entirely bad, but like I said, too much flaws.
I'm really sorry I didn't come to your dad's funeral.
Okay, this one's gonna be fast because I don't have that much of a problem with the time travel in this episode. Marinette just uses the Rabbit Miraculous to go back in time and find where the object holding the Akuma is, since the Akuma is hidden somewhere. Not only that, but the whole power of the Akuma is to make people take risks. So even if Marinette's actions seemed dumb and not well thought, that was the whole point, so... good job, I guess?
Booster Bolt, since you can choose your power, give yourself the power to multiply objects. We'll need more pairs of sunglasses.
Sublimation.
Okay, that's literally the power of the mouse. Can they or can they not use the power of another Miraculous? I'm genuinely confused.
High school. The arena of teenage angst.
Evolution is the first episode of the 5th season of Miraculous. To recontextualize, Hawkmoth, now called Monarch, finally got his hands on all of the Miraculouses except for the Black Cat, the Ladybug, and the Peacock. With all of those Miraculous at his hand, he decides to immediately use the Rabbit Miraculous. Which might be one of his smartest moves, honestly. But would you know it, adult Blanc realizes that someone's messing with the timeline, and so she takes Ladybug and Cat Noir to try and stop Monarch. Okay, first off, I'm not gonna talk about the fact that we see multiple Rabbit Miraculous users in the same burrow. That's too many headaches, and I already did that earlier in this video. Now, as for the real problems of this episode, I'll admit, there's not many actually. It's a pretty good episode if we're talking about time travel. And the problems I'm talking about, they're pretty insignificant. And we can even ignore them and pin them as the characters being dumb and making kind of weird decisions. Let me explain. Remember in Timetagger when adult Blanc said to Ladybug that she's gonna have a team of superheroes in the future? Well...
Not again!
We were able to get one of the Miraculous back from him.
And at what price?
Girl, why are you crying? You literally have confirmation by future Blancs that you're gonna have a team of superheroes, meaning that you're gonna indeed retrieve those Miraculouses. The bare existence of future Blancs is proof of that. I mean, yeah, you still don't know how you're gonna do that, but at least you know it's gonna happen. And if something wrong happens, young Blancs will be there to tell you. You see now why I was mad that we got this info? It was so unnecessary. And when I know something else that was unnecessary?
Master Fu, we need a Miraculous!
You're telling me that in all of the Miraculous timeline, there was not a single time where the dog Miraculous was unsupervised? And I'm not talking about taking it from Marinette's place in the past, that would blow her cover to Rabbit Noir, but what about the temple? You're telling me that in all of the time this Miraculous was in the temple, there wasn't a time in which you could get it without anyone seeing? No, cause isn't it risky to ask Master Fu of the past? They're pretty lucky it didn't change anything in the timeline, but was that really your only solution? Another thing that bothered me is this.
If you don't get him out of there fast, your crush will soon be sliced.
Like, bitch, the Ladybug of the past definitely saw him. He was right in front of her from his perspective. No matter how fast you acted, there's no way she didn't see that. You literally just changed the past. Are we not gonna talk about this? Really?
No, Ladybug tricked me. She stole the time Miraculous from me.
I mean, I'm not sure why you're mad. You can still time travel, remember? Okay, last problem I have with this episode is not exactly a problem, but so at one point in the episode, they go fetch young Alex so she can help them and hopefully become the rightful holder of the Rabbit Miraculous, but that's when it's revealed that her father knew all about it. How, you ask me? So, to prepare her dad as well as not worry him too much, adult Blanc decided to send him messages and photos. Okay, why? I get that you don't want to worry your dad and all, but why send it to your dad from the past? Doesn't that fall in the disturbing the timeline thing? Or she sent them asking her dad to give her old self the clock heirloom at one point to ensure that she has it. The thing is, for someone who's so into not disturbing the course of history, a lot of what's happened in the last few episodes is a result of Blanc's intervention, just saying.
And your buddy here's the famous banana cat, I presume.
Just call me Banana.
Okay, like with Strikeback, Reunion doesn't really have any problems with the time travel. I just have one nitpick, but it's not much. So in this episode, Marinette goes to the museum to use the Magatama Tiki gave her, so she can summon a previous holder of the Miraculous of the Ladybug, and she decides to conduct this one called freaking Jeanne d'Arc. Why not Miraculous? Pourquoi pas? Let's skip over the details, but at one point the akumatized villain asks them a question, and to go and defeat him, they have to answer. The question being...
What will the weather be like in Paris on July 14th, 200 years from now?
And you guessed it, that's a question only Blanc can answer, and so Marinette sends her a message by hiding it behind the painting of a previous Rabbit Miraculous holder so she can find it. Okay, so you're telling me that with all of the time that has passed, that painting was never moved, nor tampered with? Really? I mean, I guess it's possible, but damn, you're lucky. Very, very lucky. But I guess that works. Like I said, it's more of a nitpick. So like with Strikeback, good job, I guess.
Ready to get the staff back?
Oh no, not the tongue.
The special London happens right after the finale of season 5, and I'll be honest, it's a very good special. If you forget time travel, because the narrative, the emotions of the characters, everything was pretty good. Yes, Marinette and Kagami made very poor decisions by lying to everyone, but that was exactly the point. A very bad decision motivated by well-thought intentions. And like, you can feel the despair and sorrow for every character. And then time travel ruined it. I'm gonna try and be concise. Young Bunix is chilling with her older selves when all of a sudden the older her disappears and her timeline is starting to go blank. It's the end of the world. Again, that's when she takes Marinette right before the blank, and after an impressive but normally not at all intuitive thinking, they realize that the one making this is the new holder of the once again stolen Miraculous of the Butterfly. Which is actually Lila, but I don't know that. Lila used the Miraculous to give her the power to go back in time to figure out Ladybug's secret identity. She then stole Marinette's Miraculouses so she can make a wish. And in short, the end of the world that you see right now is a result of Lila's wish. I would love to know what kind of wish she made to fuck up the universe like that, but let's just go into time paradox territory. And you know what? I'm in a good mood right now, so I'm just gonna skip the part about why the older Bunixes started to disappear now or how they existed before all of that. I'm not gonna talk about how Lila gave herself the power to go back in time, and also the fact that we have multiple holders in the same burrow. And also because that would be repetitive. And I'm lazy. And okay, I know this one's gonna have people divided, so give your thoughts in the comments once I'm done. Here I go. At one point in the episode, they find the Butterfly Miraculous right before it goes missing again. Marinette hesitates to take it right here and there until she decides to let it be to not interfere with the course of history. Oh, fuck you! What do you mean? Just the fact that you're fighting someone in past event is already interfering with history. Who cares? Girl, taking the Miraculous here will not just interfere with history, it will resolve everything. The reason we still have villains is because of this Miraculous. The reason Alex is still traveling through time and not with her family is because of this Miraculous. And I hope for all of you that the reason we have Granny Bunix is just because she likes time traveling and not because there's still a threat in her time. Because that would be pretty bad. The reason we will have suffering, misery, and worse is because of this Miraculous. Fucking think about Nuru, that poor Kwame. When will he be free? Taking this Miraculous would solve everything. It wouldn't even do bad things. Take it! And don't even try to say, but it's going to change the course of history. That's gonna disturb the timeline. Oh, shut it. Bunix and other characters already disturbed it enough in other episodes. What's that gonna change? Okay. Let's stop there. You know what? I'm too lazy to do a conclusion, so I'm gonna do this fast. If you have something to say, or if you have an argument against anything I just said, the comment section is yours. If you like the video, like and subscribe. And I'll see you around.